Hello, moguls. It's Dr. T here, and I'm just coming to you with some awesome upgrades today. And just to really elevate you into your mogul status and allow you to really secure your future, especially in the age of AI, where rapid transformation is going to be the number one skill set that people can possess. And so I'm really excited to connect with you today. And I really welcome all of you to make these upgrades. Now, um, when you're transforming from whatever level of a leader you are of your life, right? Because we're all leaders of our lives, whether we feel like we're leading them at the highest level yet or wherever we are, as they say, you're leading a life, right? And as they talk about when someone's passed, they say, oh, this is the life he or she led. And so you're leading a life. And what we're talking about today is coming more into being a leader at the level of a mogul, which is simply a term that means very powerful, influential person. And how to be able to secure your future in the way that the top moguls of the world do, the ones that are the most powerful and influential, and to be able to secure your future and really be able to be in a state and a process of rapid transformation, especially in this age of AI, where things are going to change more than at any time in human history. They're going to change at levels that are no other human species has ever needed to adapt to before. So our focus today is about securing your future through rapid transformation of yourself so that you can absolutely thrive in this age of AI. And while it's also the age of AI, it is the age of absolute revolution in reality. So our focus is to help you be able to up level into that and to be able to really secure a future in a way that no other humans have ever had to do, because in every other era, the pace of human evolution has been much, much slower. But what we're doing now is we're going into an exponential age. So we're going to go through today ways to make sure you have the correct perspective and paradigm for what it is that's actually occurring, what it is that's going to be expected of you, because it's not just learn the technology. That's like freaking baseline simple level. What's going to be expected of you as a human in order to be able to thrive, let alone even survive without literally getting crushed in this new revolutionary time where exponential rapid transformation is going to happen of our world. And it's going to require people to transform at levels that are, again, they're unprecedented. And we're going to focus on the very particular strategies that you can do to make that happen. And we're going to connect into how you can navigate strategically right here and right now, knowing that if you aren't, it's already like you got to get in the game. How you can navigate strategically through this era, how you can help you navigate, direct your partner, your family, your company, like the top moguls do, who are literally knowing this is what's going on. This is the game. We've entered a new era. It's the exponential age. Whatever we once knew, that is gone. And we've got to get, not only we've got to keep up with it, we've got to go ahead. We've got to be able to think in such a visionary way for the future. We can't just be predicting next year, next month, maybe 2 years out. Like, we've got to be able to do something very different than we've ever done. So we're going to be able to we're going to focus today on how you can do that so that you don't end up like trying to adapt, but then you adapt, and the thing you adapt to is then all of a sudden gone as well, because the pace of reality is transforming so fast. So to be able to have the foresight, have the vision, which is also why it's good, because someone like me, even though I'm a psychologist, I'm what's called a projector in human design. I'll say more about that in a minute. We are effectively visionaries who can tell you what's going to be happening in the future. And this is very important for people to be able to predict more than ever, because the reality's not going to be forgiving like it has been. Got to be able to predict so far out. We got to be able to get yourself on the chessboard to be able to maneuver through iterations of yourself and your life to such a degree that, for example, people who are getting investing, massive amounts of money into an educational process to get some degree right now, that thing's going to be irrelevant, like maybe by the time they're done with it. And as someone that is highly educated with an MBA, PhD, BA, all this stuff, it's just a different era where investing in whatever we invest ourselves into, our time, our resources, it's got to be able to do the most important thing, which is to make you adaptable. It's not just like, I'm going to do this job and then this job and I hang out forever. Like, we got to become super transformative beings, and we got to become adaptable. So we're going to go into a little bit more of that. And we're going to talk about how you can do rapid transformation in such a way that allows you to do this and recognize that people around you may not clue in to what's going on, and you got to be able to go and flow. Like, whoever gets it, whoever in our world population actually gets it and understands, I got to go forward, I got to adapt, I got to transform, I got to grow. This is what has to happen. There can be no more, we're going to go further into this, no more where it's like, oh, but my friends aren't doing it and my family members aren't doing it. Like, talking about like extended family, obviously you've got to lead your family through stuff. But that also means that your kids and your kids' kids are going to be in the most rapid transformation ever. So it starts now. So we're going to talk about how you can really secure your future and lead yourself, your family, your companies, your reality into a secure future in this age of AI, and also just, ultimately thrive on a level that, instead of you like chasing it, which is where most people are starting out right now. And if you're watching this, it's great to like decide, I am going forward in a new way into rapid transformation, because whatever the future used to be, it'd take a lot longer to get there. It is now, they're saying right now, let alone what will be a year from now. Right now, they say we're going to get to a point very soon where humans will be living an entire year in 11 days. What we used to get done in a year in 11 days. Now, we think life is fast now. We think it's burning us out now, all of that. The reality is it's going to get more exponential, and it's going to go through a process where transformation, again, is the number one skill, rapid transformation. Now, eventually, it'll get to a point where we become so adapted to this and we're so normalized for it. And I would say the population of people that agree to say, I'm going, right? I'm not going to hang back and try to belong, and all the people that are like, I don't know if I agree with this or not, and I don't know if I like it, and boo, doesn't matter. It's not going to do jack shit. The what do they say? Whatever, the floodgates have opened. We're not putting it back in the box. We're going into exponential reality. So you need to be able to do this, be secure in yourself, be able to know what moves you're going to make, how you're going to adapt, be able to shift your own energy system. Because, yes, it's your physiology and all of that that is used to a certain pace of reality, but be able to shift your own energy system and your own reality field of your life, and the one that you live in and maybe lead your family or lead somebody, um, and how you can be able to do that in such a way that you don't get caught in like, well, I want my 40 extended family members to get this so we can all be great together. It's like, yeah, and you gotta go. Somebody's gotta thrive and make it out of what is the most transformative era. And I'm going to talk more about that in a moment, but we're going to start by, and the result again is going to be that you will ultimately feel clearer about how to secure your future, about how to be able to do rapid transformation, about how to go forward in such a way that you can make moves that are going to allow you to adapt and thrive in this exponential age. It's going to change. Like we think we might get on solid ground. No, it's a new moment, new piece of technology, new. And then again, how you can really lead this and navigate yourself and the people that you love productively so you can thrive and then not get caught also with the fact that most people around you are just going to be like deers in the headlights, and you don't want to get stuck with that. Somebody's got to go and make it and represent. So let's start out by just getting clear again in a really deep way that we have entered a new era, and we've made a shift, and it began happening a while back as the evolutionary process brings us through different ages and different eras. And just to lay some foundation here, for a very long time, based on what the universe was doing and the galaxy and the planets and the way that the container of reality it works in its mechanism, you can see, and you look at human history, we went through this era and then this era, and then we got this, and then this lights came on, and then we did this, and and literally we went through an era where the lights came on, the electricity came on. And evolution is taking us through different eras of evolving humanity, getting it to adapt, getting it to go from whatever creatures we were with whatever IQ to where we are now. And also keeping in mind that as it takes us through these eras, to understand we are still a very, very primitive culture. We're very primitive. We've been around thousands of years, but we're also very primitive. That's why we have a minority of people that are super smart, and we look to them, and they're like leading, and the moguls of the world are creating reality and literally making the very reality that we exist in. Like, we take that for granted, but it's like, this person make this company, and now we spend a whole life, people live off of that. Person makes this industry, person makes a new innovation. These are the moguls, and this is what we all need to be if we're going to thrive and secure a future in the age of AI. And I want to really emphasize that point, because there was a time that we've just come out of, and we're in a new era. There was a time where a certain segment of people could just be the top people leading everything. Everyone else was, the masses just coming along for the ride, with some people hanging on by a thread. And people could get away. They could sort of get by more accurately with being less intelligent, less adaptable, less conscious, even totally dysfunctional. And then a lot of times people would just be carrying them through, like somehow they got carried through in the vortex of the higher level people bringing people through, creating ways for that to happen. And that time is over. And where we're at is that the minimum requirement for all humans in the age of AI is going to now be to be at a mogul level, meaning be in your highest level of power. Because when we enter a new exponential age, when what happens is, say, the top people who've been leading in the previous age, and you go, oh, that's, I could never be there and I'm down here. It's like, guess what? That now becomes the standard because we've entered the exponential age. So if you didn't get there yet, now we got to do even more rapid transformation, because the minimum level for people in the new exponential age, as it unfolds and it delivers itself to us and it infuses us with what's going on, and the world shifts so rapidly, it's going to be a level of intensity that people have never experienced before. So the minimum level is to be a mogul. And a mogul is just a term. It's a simple term that's been throughout history using this term. And it doesn't just mean be a good business person, entrepreneur. It means, at its core, it simply means powerful, influential person. Powerful, influential, wealthy person. Okay? Just a simple term. And that's why when somebody does that, we say, oh, this person's a mogul, this person's a magnate, this person's a tycoon, a baron, whatever it is. These are newer words. These are words that, used to be the king and the queen and the nobleman and all that. So the minimum level is going to need to be a mogul. That's just going to be required, because the level of intelligence that is present and going to get exponentially faster and faster is going to mean that everybody's going to need to be smarter and smarter, faster and faster. And that's just the way it is. So wherever we've stayed ignorant, wherever we've just let ourselves be like, oh, I got all these problems, but I'll just go, water skiing and pretend they don't exist. And I'm all for fun and activities. I freaking love to go do fun things. But I'm also a realist and a visionary leader that says, yeah, and this is a time where people got to do whatever transformative work on themselves that they need to do, because it's not an option. It's not optional. And this is a time where not only you, your partnerships, your families need to make the upgrades they need to make. The previous era, where it was like, oh yeah, we're all fucked up. This person's an alcoholic. This person's this. We're not having conversations that we need to have. We're not fixing stuff. We're not getting the help we need. We're just pretending and just, buried in watching some serial killer show, wasting time. That's never going to get you anywhere. We now need to do the catch up. And I've been my whole life been going to people like, I can't believe I've been around all these people. I grew up with them. I'm just like, I don't understand how people can have the issues that they have, not deal with them, not get the help, other than the fact that this is the programming that shames people into not getting help, because they go, oh my God, I can't think about it. I'm a person that gets help. This is a point where evolution says, whatever the F you've been doing and whatever you've been ignoring about your own development, the development of your partnership that needs to be a power couple partnership, whatever you've been doing in your family and ignoring things. And if you're like, my family of origin, it's like, let's sit around and have weird, fake, awkward conversations where we talk about nothing but gossip about other people. And we aren't facing the fact that we need to pull together as a unit and upgrade. And if you need to get this fixed, you need to get that. Like, I've never understood. I've been sitting around going, I don't understand. Rome is burning and you won't go get therapy. Like, I don't understand. You're sick and depressed and you're going to just be that way. And I got to sit around and deal with that version of you. I don't get it. I never have. But this is the moment for all of us, because we all have upgrades to do, where transformation of literally everything about ourselves that needs to be at a higher level happens, because it's catch-up time. And it's also like the marker. If you had stuff that you didn't develop about yourself, which is also not entirely your fault, even though it's your responsibility, because the systems of the world program people to be idiots and controllable and conquerable, and so they can enslave them and extract from them. But somewhere in there, deep down, I know everybody knows when they've got something to work on and something to grow in, and then they just ignore it because they see everyone around them doing that. So this is where the markers are called in. Like, oh, you didn't work on this thing about being able to communicate better. You got to do that. You didn't work on this thing about knowing more about how finance works. You got to do that. You didn't do this thing where you learn to get to run a company, and instead of be a slave to someone else's. It's time to do that. Right? You ignored something about yourself, and you're 50 pounds overweight because you've got an eating disorder. Call it what you want. I don't know why in women we call it an eating disorder, and men we just overweight. It's just ridiculous. This is the time where we get clear. No more lying to ourselves, no more ignoring, no more of these experiences, which I know we all have, and I have been fed up with them my whole life, and I'm absolutely done and disengaged from any relationships where people are pretending, ignoring, avoiding, talking about small talk and nothing, and nobody's growing and nobody's addressing things and nobody's getting better. And 50 years goes by and you're like, we're having the same stupid conversations from when you were 5, and nobody's gotten any better, and there's no better agenda, and there's no better leadership in a family. Like that era is over. Okay, everyone. So it's the time where all the generations where it was like, dad's an alcoholic and mom's depressed and the kids got this issue and Uncle Joe's got this issue. And then we just leave it. And everybody's just like generation after generation, dysfunction. That will not fly. The only option is transformation at this point to secure your future and rapid reprogramming. The good news is, just like when someone goes to boot camp, concentrated transformation and reprogramming, it works because we're built to transform and we're built to adapt. And as long as we put ourselves into that situation, that will happen. But it will not happen if we take our time and do it really slowly. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to this therapy like 1 hour a week and I'll, take the next 20 years. Those days are over. And I, for one, am glad. I am so tired. I'm sure if, you might be too, whether it's something you've left unaddressed in yourself, or you just see people around you, family, friends, your community, your coworkers, your bosses. It's time to transform. And the good news is, again, that humans are very adaptable. However, we must be completely committed and willing to transform. Any sentimental holding on to a previous reality and previous version of ourselves, people will literally get crushed. You'll get trampled over, like the running of the bulls thing. Get trampled over. And I know that's its own kind of sad thing. Oh my God, but I like this way we used to be. It doesn't matter. The forces of nature, evolution does not care about that. It has an agenda for us to get to a higher level. And a lot of humanity's been dragging ass in some human programming, because evolution is always trying to get you upgraded. But we've been dragging ass in some human program that says, oh my God, don't act like you need help. You'll be too vulnerable. People will not like you. You'll be kicked out of the tribe. So you sit around not getting help. And instead of having what I think every person and every family should have, and at least every company, of course, is advisors bringing you through, learning, how do we function? How do we I don't get a world where it's like you just spit out some people into adulthood and then they're just like, I should just know what to do, when you got trained to be a slave in the beginning and now you're just trying to figure it out as you go. There's no time for that. This is the era of transformation. And if you're hearing this message, it's because you're being given the news to awaken, to secure your future so you can thrive in the future. And if it makes you feel uncomfortable, it's probably even a sign that it's even more important. So I'm not here to make everybody feel comfortable about it, because we went through an era where everybody just wanted, oh my God, oh, it's okay. You're a good person. You don't need to change that. Like, no, it doesn't matter anymore. None of that matters. We must address our upgrades. We must evolve. We must become the new version of ourselves. And the new version of ourselves has to be completely and totally adaptable and transformable. The version of ourselves that's like, but I don't want to, and I don't like it, and I don't want to learn, and I feel stupid when I'm learning, and I don't want to say I need help, and I don't want to ask for directions. Somebody knows I don't know something, which is just insane strategy. Like, I don't want to ask for directions. I don't know why men were given that ridiculousness. Like, how smart is it to be like, hey, am I going the right direction? If not, point me in the correct direction, please. Like, you're a genius. So just understanding, everyone, to this point, we have come through the age of Capricorn, which is just saying how our universe works, where the planets have been, the dances they've been doing with each other, the relationships. And we know this from history, that we went through this era at this time, and this is what the planets were doing. And this era we are in has not existed since 647 BC. So we already also have history of what follows the last time we came out of a Capricorn era and then went into this era, because these eras are thousands of years. So we were in the Capricorn era, and the Capricorn era was all about just build, 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 lead the material, was material, industry, all of it, right? We got the railroads, we got pieces of technology, like we got the material world. We learned how to build a material world. We came out of tribal, living outside and all that stuff. We came into building infrastructure. Capricorn has been about infrastructure. This, and toward, eras can be transitioning for years as the new one, and then the new one starts to transition in. And for many years, we've been in that. And then it got to the point where it's like, get more stuff and have more stuff and have more stuff, to places to put your stuff, and storage units and more houses. And then we got that. So we know how to do that. The good news is that's in our DNA. We know how to build shit. That's the point of that era. That's like, good. For some time now, we've been getting the prepping for the entry into where we are now, that started around April, which is the of last 2024, is the age of Aquarius. So what you saw in the lead up to that, and this lead up, if you have 1,000-year blocks, this lead up is like, the lead up can even be decades leading into it, because evolution has a long term plan. So we saw an era of people being born into this world with the total focus, like this version of this segment of population that is all about transforming, psychologists, coaches, healers, advisors, and that has all been building up so we could go into this next era, which is like, we know how to build shit. We have tons of stuff. We have so much stuff. We're going to kill our planet. Now it's about elevating us into a higher frequency. So the stuff we have, we know how to do that part. Now we need to be a higher level so that we don't keep building more stuff, more infrastructure, but staying in some low level it is from a previous era. Now is the time where we're going into higher intelligence, higher consciousness, all same thing. More ease for humans, because we've used humans to build stuff. We've said, we're using you to build stuff. And now we're going into a new era, which is, let's transform you. Let's upgrade you. Let's get the frequency higher. Let's get the next level of human existence to be better, because we took care of that part. And there was a crew that did all that and built. And now there's a crew that was born for this transformative era. And all the new people that are going to keep being born are going to be more sensitive because they can feel, this is seeming like why there are all these sensitive people, these highly sensitive people right here. There's a generations and waves being born of people that are saying, great, we have all this stuff, but we've got everybody miserable. So now we need to upgrade the frequency and get everybody into a exponentially higher level of consciousness, intelligence, and ease and flow. And we got to get people going faster, because all the era that it took, the building took a long time. We're going to go faster because it's not going to be just about building stuff anymore. It's going to be about experiences, intelligence, instant new reality. I ask something, a question, it gives me the answer. I make a change. I make someone's life better. See how fast, see, even the intelligence is here to instantly make your life better. I can ask it a question. I know the answer. I have a healing. I don't need to go to 5,000 doctors and 20, because when you make infrastructure, then you all now have to support the infrastructure. Now it's going to be human quality of human life is better immediately and more often. So it's the age of Aquarius, which is the age of revolutionary transformation. And again, this is where all the markers are called in, and all the people that were programmed to just do the old way, ignore themselves as a transformational process and a micro evolution within the larger evolution. Now it's time to upgrade. And those who can upgrade themselves and be willing to do rapid transformation until it becomes normal and we don't have to call it rapid anymore, are going to thrive, and they're going to be able to absolutely play the game at the top level and be like, okay, cool, this new thing is happening and I'm so adaptable, I'm so transformable that I can learn it quickly and move into the next stage of reality. All right, so that's the second chunk here, which is, imagine that we have to be so adaptable and make that our number one skill of leadership, of being a mogul. So we become so adaptable that instead of going like, hey, well, I've been doing this lawyer thing for a long time and now I want to go be a influencer, the creator online or whatever. And I got to take, 5 years to learn a skill before I can then go into it. That's over, because we're going to have the intelligence, the AI that's going to just know, first of all, it's going to do much of the stuff for us. And just like industry and more blue collar work got replaced at a certain point with these type of intelligence and automations, knowledge work is going to get replaced, and we're going to go into the new level of the excitement of let's see, what are humans meant to be doing, because there's always an adaptation to what it's supposed to be, and it's always better. Even though people, oh my god, I don't know, no, it's always better. Evolution is improving things. So the number one skill is transformation. I like that word better than adaptation, but it means adaptation. It means I'm willing to move into the next version of myself as instantly as possible. And the era where we got so attached to the infrastructure of stuff, and the infrastructure of a relationship, and the infrastructure of a thing, and the infrastructure of something that you haven't used in 5 years and you still can't give away or throw away, that's over. It's all about being adaptable, which is very exciting, because we're finally going to have a new version of experience, and there's going to be a clear delineation between how it was before and how it is now. So even as evolution gave us the intelligence for new media, otherwise known as social media, which is a democratized media instead of just propaganda coming from certain sources to get you to do things that serve a certain minority, we've now got the democratization of humanity, because we can all transform by being in this kind of experience right now, which is amazing. However, the other part is, we're all meant to transform and therefore become people who transform others. We're meant to have a massive wave of people who are transformed, and likely, in addition to being good at the technology, of AI and everything that spins off from that in this exponential age. The other number one role, top role, is to be someone that leads transformations. It leads as a role model, leads in transforming, because there's 8 freaking billion people, and a teeny tiny amount of them are holding up the entire world right now with their intelligence and intentionality and purpose and skills. So we're going to shift from a small group of people transforming people to a bigger group of people that keep transforming everybody until everybody makes the adaptation to the new age of reality. And then it won't seem fast anymore. It'll seem normal. It'll seem normal also to keep changing immediately, because all that it is now is we're used to a certain pace. There are people 1,000 years ago that would be like, oh my God, what you guys are doing now? I could never do that, but we did. So we're going to do it again. So in this age of Aquarius, the evolutionary forces are going to keep feeding us more and more intelligence. It's going to make it easier. We're going to go faster. It knows we have the infrastructure of stuff, but now it's like we need the infrastructure of human intelligence. We need this infrastructure of intelligence. And therefore, when we're around these more intelligent beings, these that are being created in these AIs, which are going to become these types of beings, it's going to be able to make all of us have so many more intelligent people around us that we're going to, by osmosis, become more intelligent. Thank God. Because everyone knows what it's like to be conscious, intelligent to a certain degree, and most people around you are beeping idiots. And you're just like, can I just have an intelligent conversation with somebody? And then when you try to, they are uncomfortable and you don't know. You're just like, oh, I got to dumb myself down and talk about some dumb weather or sports team. Nothing. I mean, I love sports, but just like, we got to upgrade. So we're going to become more intelligent. And the key thing is that this is a positive thing and it's time to adapt. It's another big point for today is just settling in, having the correct perspective, mindset, understanding that if you were born into this world and you are here at this time and need to make this upgrade into being someone that, however good you are at everything you do, becomes just mogul level at transformation, and then can go even, beyond that. Because imagine with the top mogul people right now, as they go into that, they're going to massively exponent. They're going to still be ahead. Thank God there's people leading. And yet we've all got to up our game. We can't just be like, we're passengers and other people are going to lead it and solve all the problems. That era is over. So in this new Aquarian age, which is also, fortunately, Aquarian is about prosperity for all. I happen to be an Aquarius. I'm excited about this. If you were born into this time, at whatever point you were born, whatever era has become before, you were born to also to go through this era, to bring humanity through this era, and to usher more people through this. Okay. This is what you were born for. It's not like oh my God, I have to do this thing. You were born, as I was, as our contemporaries are, to be the people who did the fastest, most rapid adaptation and the most intensive adaptation in humanity that has ever occurred. And I can also invite you to know, whatever your spiritual beliefs are, more power to you. Mine are that we come through, we are consciousness, we are energies. Some people say spirits. My language is just, we are energy beings, and we come through different lifetimes. We utilize different bodies to evolve the human race. And if you are here now, it feels very clear that these are even though you may not feel like it, that you must have been doing something really right along the way in your evolution as a energy throughout however many bodies you've been in. Again, you can believe whatever you want to believe. This is my understanding. And the feeling for so many people that are transforming others and leading and being willing to be transformable and transformative is there's a lot of people that volunteered to come in and bring humanity from essentially one reality to another, because every other adaptation was much slower over a much longer time. Now this has been going on for quite a long time. That's why you have seen the proliferation of all these people online changing from what they were doing and putting themselves into the present position of leading others through this kind of contact, because that's what they were brought in to do. Because even if you're moguling on up and you're feeling amazing in your reality, you see what these amazing moguls do, these influencers. They say, well, I got to bring everyone along to where they need to be. It's not like, oh, let me sit around and let everybody burn to the ground. So in order to secure your future, and what my colleague, Raoul Paul, who I really love, I've been really loving his work, says, you're here to unfuck your future. And that is being like, okay, whatever's been going on, let me get my head on straight. I'm adapting. I'm transforming. I'm setting my life up so I'm going to be transforming on the regular. So that perspective is going to be key. And the way you're going to navigate, first and foremost, is always the programmed response is to absolutely transform, move up, move forward, and go to the next thing. Because when you're willing to learn how to transform as your number one skill, then whatever you have to transform in, you can do it because you've got the foundation. Call it learning, whatever. If you have to go learn something new because the AI age keeps making, well, now we have to do this, and now we got a new thing, and now we got a new thing, and now we got a new thing, which is going to happen, and you aren't good at transforming and learning how to grow fast, you'll try to apply yourself to that. You'll get overwhelmed. Your system will not integrate this new information fast, and you'll be like resistant to it. So it can't just come in and immerse within you. But if you learn how to transform fast, that skill will apply to everything. And this is the skill for you. This is the skill for you and your partner. This is the skill for you and your family and your companies and colleagues and friends and all of that. So number one skill is fast transformation. When you absolutely say and go, that's my intention, it's already happening, which is great. Feels amazing just when I say it. And it will be the way in which when the new thing happens where you're like, oh my God, the previous you would be like, I can't keep up with it, bury my head in the sand, watch some Netflix. You'll be like, oh, awesome. New thing, got it, get it. I understand it. I got it fast. It took me a day. It would have took me 10 years before. If I need to move into a new role, I can quickly move into a new role. And that is how, think about it. Wouldn't it be great to be that way already? We're set of people like, well, if I want to change from a lawyer to a artist or whatever, it takes forever. It's like a reinvention takes so long and your life goes by. And now it's going to be like, I'm so transformable that if I need a new skill to adapt to a new technology, I got it. I understand it. My brain's taking it in and I'm upgrading. So how you're going to do this and how you're going to navigate is the invitation is you're going to make fast transformation a priority, and you're going to put that into your life, whether it's coming here and watching the lives every day and watching all the training that I'm going to be doing with people through the absolute foreseeable future. I'm going to be going live 365 days this year to help, because this is the most pivotal year. And there will never be a year like this that is more important for people to get on board and get into transformation. And again, the fact that this is going to become actually one of the number one careers anyway, that you transform and then you help in your version of transforming others. So those are the options, right? We can get super good at AI, which we all need to, and whatever comes with it. And we can also get amazing at transformation and teaching others how to do it. So how you're going to do that is whether it is tuning in here to our top mogul training of rapid transformation for humanity, getting you to the level of being a powerful, influential person in yourself and for others who makes a positive contribution, especially during this time where we need all humans on board, right? This is not a time where it's like, oh, some people will take care of it. The masses and masses of people who will flounder if they don't do this is going to be so great. You thought COVID needed more first responders. This is a whole level beyond. This is like, and all the psychologists, coaches, influencers, and leaders could not handle what is going to happen. We need more people to transform and get into a transformative leadership role. Um, uh, uh, a mass population needing to transform at this level is unprecedented. So let's get going. So how you're going to do that is whether it's this or you tune into some other, you get on board with some rapid transformational program that you find and create. And if this being presented to you, it's probably because this is supposed to be the one, but you decide. Myself and my company are going to keep building up our ability to transform more people. And as an aside, going from a company that has spent years doing rapid transformation on ultra high net worth and high net worth people, still having some certain programs that were more accessible, but programs that started at $100,000 per year and went up to $1 million per year for like families and companies. All of the rapid transformational techniques that myself, my team, and I do have been tested out on the highest net worth people who want transformation fast, want an edge, didn't want to waste 20 years in therapy. And all of that has gone really well. And the transformational methodologies we use to be in highest levels of intentionality and purpose for the future is something that, an elite group of people have gotten before. And now that we're at this moment and the masses are needing this, I'm able to be more philanthropically making myself available to transform more people in a mass way. So you want to get on board. You want to tune in. You want to make the upgrade. And all that time that I was doing all that with those people was to make sure these methodologies worked in a certain way. And it was great because those are the people that could spend any amount of resources. And so you're going to be, as this is, getting access to training that over on this channel that is available, that people who could spend the most amount of money on upgrading themselves have been spending. So moving forward, the next part is about understanding. Oh, so a little bit more. Strategically speaking, which will be covered, it's covered in lots of videos on my channel, be covered in more trainings, is the number one strategic way forward and upward is to be your most intentional self. Meaning everything is about intentions for the future. Everything is about that, because what people do is they're programmed so much for this reality. They're programmed for the past. They keep reliving it. They keep getting caught in it. And they're very sentimental about it. I've been guilty of that. Beautiful, wonderful times with people and also simpler times and all of that. Again, we're in a transformational and transitional era. There will come a point where there will be people, just like when we were more like, oh, this is so much more simple. That's because a lot of people, previous generations, went through transformational times to get us to a point where we're like, oh my God, this is so awesome. We are now at the era where it's all transition so that future generations can be like, this is so cool. This is amazing. But we're in this role now. So future generations were like, we don't have any plumbing. We got to do this plumbing thing. We don't have any electricity. We got to do this electricity thing. Like light, they did all of that so that we could get to a point where we were previously, where it's just like, and the baby boomer generation really represents a lot of this, but all of us who have been here and the new technology coming in, why it's been amazing, but it's also been feeling like we're in a massive transition, which we are. because we've been transitioning from one era to the other, and transitioning can feel intense for people because it's like you used to be able to do this in an 8-hour day. Now you're going to be able to do this, but in between, you got to adjust to it. It's going to feel uncomfortable. But it's also because people are programmed to stay stuck and live in the past and live in Groundhog Day and live in the same exact zip code that they lived their whole life. And the world is changing. We've got to get more cultured. We got to upgrade. We've got to become more highly intelligent and more of what I call an international mogul, where you're recognizing that we are through this. This is a global reality now. We can't just be in our little box like, oh my God, I'm in my little thing and I'm told that we're the center of the universe and everyone else knows that's not true outside of that. It's especially true for America. So it is transitional. That's just what it's going to be. And the sooner we just say, I am in acceptance of this, I accept the mission. This is what I was born to do. This is what evolution brought me in to do. Great. Now we can be even better with our partnerships and getting our partnerships and our families. And I'm just going to use a simple based example, even though I know there's many different configurations of families. Right now, I'll just speak about, say, two partners and a group of 3 kids. Or maybe even you've got grandkids. And you're the steward and the leader and the mogul of that dynasty. Making sure that your family, your partnership and you are aligned in a purpose, which is not dividing you and just being like, oh, we're here to just be besties and we're just here to watch Netflix together and do some hobbies. That's not what this time is about. I hate to say it, we're not really in a time where it's all about that romanticized version of a partnership and a family. That's from a previous era. We are way more, as previous eras have done when they've been at this juncture, about aligning in strategic partnerships. So the era of like, here's all your fairy tales and then everything is about falling in love. And then if I'm attracted to you and want to have sex with you, I'm going to get married to you, even though we don't really have a strategic alliance or a set purpose. And we're just floating through earth. I don't know about you, but I've been in family systems like nobody's leading. We're just like spinning around, seeing what happens. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Who's in charge here? Where are we heading? And I, for one, have seen the closest family members to me. And then I was able, to be caught in that in my life, or just like, oh, we're just here to fall in love, be so romantic. And everything is this romantic thing, which I appreciate the benefits of it, but it's also been a shit show of a life strategy. Because we want to feel love, but previous eras were all strategic partnerships, but not necessarily love. We got to combine it now. We got to be having a strategic purpose and for our partnerships and families, and feel love that is not just like some romanticized version of it, that it's a new type of kind of love that comes from, we've got a mission to be amazing, to be transformational, to be role models, to literally adapt and then be role models for others around us to do so, whether they think we're crazy or not, while they're sitting behind, eating bonbons or whatever. So we need a strategic partnership. And if you're in a partnership, it's got to get strategic, align for a future mission, not like, oh my God, we're just like, it's not going to work. You got to get seriously strategic. Power couple partnerships. The mogul is the version of the powerful person. The power couple partnership is the strategic, aligned, purposeful partnership that, great, put all the amazing love, sweet, icky, gooey, awesome stuff that we all adore. It's like such a great high frequency to be in. But that's only 400 on the frequency scale between 0 and 1,000. And enlightenment is 1,000. There's a lot more stuff beyond that. Purpose and flow and enlightenment is the top level, the truth and the enlightenment experience, high consciousness. So we need to get into strategic alliances with people who are like, I agree, we're on a mission, This is the era of transformation. We're here to transform, adapt, lead, be role models, and do what we're supposed to do for human evolution. And trust me, that is not just sitting around going on a yacht doing whatever with your Lambo. It's like so ridiculous. But we had that era, whatever that did. The people that are going to lead and thrive and secure their future, the people that are transforming and helping others transform. Got to be clear with your family in a way that you never have before for a secure future where you can totally thrive in this exponential age of AI. That you guys are a dynasty. And a dynasty is a group of rulers creating a reality within a reality, and a high level reality. I think the word family has been overused forever because all it means is a classification. Like there's a family of these kind of insects. Like it's a classification. It's a pretty low vibration word, and that's why it ends up being a low vibration experience. Even though we all want it to be this thing, I'm absolutely right with you. Dynasty is so much more accurate to what we want it to be and now what we need it to be. So my company for many years has been helping families become co-rulers of a dynasty. Moguls, power couples, co-rulers of their dynasty. And I would start replacing that word family with dynasty. My dynasty. It's a high-level word. Co-rulers. Your kids are leading this. Your grandkids are leading this. Everyone coming along for the mission. Aligned in a purpose, transforming, driving, choosing your version of that you're going to do, aligning in a common understanding and a common purpose. Very important because everything else gets created as chaos. And it's a very relatively new thing in humanity that happened really from the US strategy of the independent being, and we all have our independence. I do. I'm an Aquarian after all. But I love aligning and collaborating more than anything. Actually, Aquarians are all about community more than anything. So it's a very new thing to be like you're isolated and individuated, and then all your bandwidth is just you, and you're over here becoming a lonely soul. For some of the greatest creations that have ever been made in the greatest era were strategic alliances and partnerships with partners who agree. We're making a dynasty. We're making an empire. And not just, again, building something and having your Lambo. This is like truly making a reality together at a high level. And if we've got, I don't know how it is in your families, but the families that I've come from, you got this set over here, this husband and wife, this people, everybody's separated in a way that is so different than when I was growing up. It's sad. And then you're trying to make it on your own over here. And you're not aligning. We got to get aligned in a common purpose. And I, for one, have not ever, except for when my grandmother was alive, trying to make sure as the matriarch that the family was together and aligned in a purpose and a mission, creating an amazing business that ended up being a 48-year dynasty that went on. But I, after that, have not seen in my own family systems, and I don't know how it is in yours, I don't see it in too many people, where there's like a strategic leader, the leadership, the matriarch, the patriarch, or the matriarch, and the matriarch and patriarch, leading. It's just like, no, you're just hanging out. We don't know what we're doing, what we're talking about. We don't know why this conversation is occurring. Everybody's awkward. I don't understand why we're floating through space. No wonder crisis after crisis keeps happening. If you got no direction, you're going to literally go into crisis. You're going to go into illness. And then even for me, when as a junior person in the family, I'm trying to lead. Nobody's really getting it. It's like, well, I don't understand. It's like, we don't get to just hang out. We have to be in intention, or we just drift into some random experience. And then we go, oh my God, I can't believe life is happening to me. No, you're drifting because you're not in intention. So I'm inviting you all to very much get aligned as a dynasty to secure your future in this exponential age, and get everybody on the program that transformation is the number one strategy. for everyone to become transformed, transformable, to grow quickly, not to scare the shit out of everybody, but to be like, we've got a mission. We're here to grow. We're here to evolve. We're not here to just hold on sentimentally to a previous era. That could be a recipe for disaster for people. That's also what the Buddha would refer to as attachment. And that's from the age of Capricorn, where we were in. Everything's about the stuff, and I need my stuff. And no, we are now in the age of revolutionary new co-leaders of a dynasty with your family and a dynasty in all of reality, because literally that's what humanity actually is if we look at it better. We are a dynasty and we need to be co-leaders of it so it goes in a direction and we don't literally crash into our own stupidity for not aligning. So it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen my whole life here. I'm like, what are we doing? Your country's on this level. We are literally creating chaos when we are one family and we need to know where are we taking humanity. Multiple agendas on all these. It's just the same template, and then it happens in families. So aligning your family where you are going. What's the reality you're intending? And for the dynasty family programs that we do in my company, the Empire Company and the International Moguls Club is the community. Aligning in what we're creating as a dynasty for the new age and for the new era that's going to support humanity and the dynasty family creating it. And we can already see that this is where things are going. We're now tuning more into the power couples of the world. You know, that this is so obvious. This has been in so many eras before the strategic alliance. We're coming out of this age that the individual is isolated on their own. We're still having a lot of problems with this, but that's what's going to switch. So that we come into the dynasty era and helping everybody understand that it's not just a punishment that, you know, because I can have my own moment of being like, oh my God, so much that we're going to have to do. It's not a punishment. It's a purpose and a mission. And this is what you're here to do. And that is what countless millions and millions of people have done before. They do the things that then brings the human race forward and keeps it going. And that's the point. It's not just to be so narcissistically like sitting around watching the Real Housewives and getting Botox. You know, like it's so strange to me. So I'm almost about to wrap up, folks. So last part is this understanding that in a transformational age and a big transition from one era to the other, the effects of the other era are going to linger for a long time. And in other previous eras, they might have been able to linger longer. But what's going to happen in this new age is people are going to get smacked in the face. And they're going to have to do what's called forced upgrades. Because even though all the messaging is telling everybody, you need to upgrade, and then people are looking around and like, oh no. And I've got all these friends that are just like glazed over when I've like for years I've been going, this is what got to happen. They're like, my family. So what's going to happen is when people don't get the message, then they're going to be thrown into a forced upgrade, which will look like a crisis and they'll look like a victim. So you got to know, and I've got this in my life, I have literally been telling people for years what is going to happen. And what needs to happen is they've got to prioritize transformation of them and their families. And people who deeply love their families are just like, whatever, I'll just go do whatever. Like, okay. And I can appreciate that because I've been trying to say this to my family and they're also kind of like, because a lot of people just get locked into like, oh yeah, I'm just going to do this, this, and this. I'm going to do it the way I did. I'm going to let it play out. But that's not happening. It's not gonna go well. So just because you have people around you and friends, like I can think of sitting at when I lived in California until recently, when I now live in Dubai, And I would be saying to this to my friends at the country club, and they're just like completely ignoring me. I'm like, all right, this is what's going on. If you can't see the writing on the wall, I'm helping you, have a direction, understand that transformation is your number one skill. So to get into transformation of your whole self, reprogram yourself into a new version of yourself that's like the mogul superhero version for what you're going to need to tackle. It's superhero time for people. It's survival of the fittest. And even if they say, oh, well, we're going to help everybody make this transition with some universal basic income, as a psychologist, as a visionary, as a human projector in the human design system, if you don't know it, you can check out my website, theempirecompany.com, look at the human design tab, see what you are. So just because people around you are not getting it, or you start trying to talk about it and they're glazed over, you say it once, they don't get it, don't keep hammering it. You got to go forward. You got to upgrade. You got to surround yourself with people that are making the upgrade to rapid transformation in the new exponential age. Because if you get sentimental, I have been there, and you're like, but I love all these people, and I've got to keep talking to this. Better for you to get into a new level, a new position, a new level of transformation. They will see it. They will eventually have to get it, and evolution will force this upgrade through every intensive crisis, and where all of the previous things that people are thinking are going to be there are crumbling. They're dissolving. The old paradigms are dissolving. And it's going to happen faster than you think. And I'm here to be actually inspiring you about that, because those have their time. And it's not that something's not going to be there for people. It's that the new roles need everybody to upgrade into them. And again, the biggest role, whether it's in actual artificial intelligence or related technologies, because there's tons of them, it's to be someone that is doing transformation and then leading it. Because the most transformational leaders are going to come into their positions that have ever happened before. And don't think there's plenty of us. No, there's not. It's exhausting being someone who does transformation, and there's not enough of us. And you just see the mass population being like, no. So if you've ever thought about being someone that's more of a leader, more of that powerful, influential mogul, the creator, the influencer, the time is literally right now. So I know how it is. I've had to train myself, and it's been the most difficult thing I have ever done in my life. I have all the empathy in the world to know that you need to upgrade, to do it, to rapidly transform, and to be willing, if the people around you that you have been living your life with and care deeply about, and these are some of your greatest friends and comrades, if they are not growing, transforming, prioritizing that, and you're going to try to rapidly grow to where you need to be and get way ahead so that you don't have to constantly chase the new moment of change. You can't do both. You can't, I'm hanging back here and I'm going to dumb myself down for you and pretend that this is real when this is where we need to be. It's impossible. You're going to average it out and you're going to get stuck. I know this. So this is also the era of transformation, where people, to secure their future, are going to need to be willing to say, I need to go forward. I would like you to come along for the ride. I love you. Here's the information. Get into transformation. Let's do this together. Join in on these lives that I'm going to be doing all year, 365 days in a row, to help people in 2025 make this transformational process from transforming to where you are to transforming into transforming. Be willing to be less sentimental about the previous era and the people that you've been aligned with in it. I know this is the hardest top mogul skill. Because it's from a place of love and care that says, I'm going to make it out. I'm going to thrive. I'm going to get ahead. I'm going to go where I can be right on the cutting edge. So I'm not always chasing everything my whole life, like what most people do. And most of probably your friends and colleagues do. I'm going to go so far forward, but I can't be in both. I can't be forward and being in my top intelligence, genius self and dumb myself down and pretend that this reality and the way that you're living in it is going to have any security in it, because it's not. It's going to dissolve. Right? It's going to absolutely dissolve. Somebody's used to doing something a certain way. Get used to a new level. It's going to be robots. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. Things that were once in existence will not be there anymore. They'll be replaced by the upgraded things. Roles, jobs, all of it. It's a absolute fact of the situation, and it will happen faster than you think. This is not for you, or it's not for me or for you to sit around trying to scare the shit out of people. This is about transformation. This is about being real. Biggest skill set is transformation. If you are not totally involved in a transformative process that is happening on the regular, I suggest every day. I'm going to be here doing these. It'd be great if everybody wants to join in and keep moving through an exponential transformation. At minimum, get into a transformational process that is all about super rapid transformation that allows you to move forward, get yourself, your brain, your body, all of it, and your overall reality to adapt fast, because it's not just changing you. You're changing you as there's a whole reality field that is in place running off of you as a mechanism interconnected with other people. So when you go to try to change, you can change yourself, but you see all this other stuff is around you. We need rapid transformation, not just of you, but of you, your partnership, your family, your company, your reality. And of course, it's starts with you. Right? So we're moving into the era of the mogul, the power couple, the empire company, and the multi-generational family dynasty. There'll be more of this to come. And yet, I invite you to take this upgrade in, get absolutely oriented to being what I would say is even somewhat of a warrior for transformation. That's where I'm at. My name is Dr. Tracy Elizabeth Thomas, which means Tracy is powerful, influential warrior. Elizabeth is messenger of God, and Thomas is a twin or a star. So it's time to be warriors of your secure future in the exponential age of AI. I appreciate everybody taking in these upgrades. It would be amazing for all of you to comment and say something about your commitment to the future, to rapid transformation. Let me know that this has been helpful and beneficial. It would be incredible if you like and subscribe so that more people can get this very valuable upgrade that need it. And that can be one of your contributions to the world. And it will help me be able to be supported in supporting people to get the upgrades they need, because it is a lot of effort and a lot of energy. And thank God we are in a new stage where even people that are doctors, speakers, authors like myself can say, we need your help too. So thank you for helping. All right, moguls, thanks for tuning in this upgrade. See you soon. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.